Hello, welcome back. So today, Lisa, who I love dearly, suggested a palette using her favorite colors, teal, green, and purple. I decided to kick it up a little bit by putting in this neon green yellow effect to it. And I've already divided my canvas up um, into diagonal section using titanium white and a jet black pillow or background, if you will. I'm going to just lightly take the blow dryer to it because I have not popped out or popped up or whatever, you know what I'm saying by now, just to get rid of some of those air bubbles. Forgive me, it's been a long morning. All right, so here we go. So what I thought I would do for Lisa today, we'll see if it works out, is what's called an open cup pour. And what I've done is I've actually used silicone to place around my cup, hopefully to gain some more cells. And I have also added 2 drops of the silicone to my purple, as well as this real pretty light seafoam sort of green. If you can see it, it's actually quite pretty. And I'm excited about the teal color, which is ready to pour, and I'm actually going to do it straight from the bottle, which isn't always a great idea, but we'll see if it turns out. Get rid of this. And just kind of deciding where I'd like to go with it. I'm actually going to start it here. And what I'm going to do is just to place some white around the outer part of the cup so that it seals that in. And yes, I'm going over the black as well. Why not? We'll see what happens and how it activates. I'm actually going to start with this real pretty neon green, and I'm going to pour from up high to hopefully have it sink in. And watching it as it kind of sinks to the bottom. I don't know how successful it'll be, but it's always fun to see what happens. I'm going to pour from up high so that it sinks. I'm using the purple. I'm actually going to add some white to break it up a little bit. Pouring from up high so that it will sink. I'm going in with some of the teal. And just give it a couple of seconds to hopefully create some magic. You can see some of the cell structures at the top. I'm actually going to give it a quick blow for some bubbles. I'm going to lift the cup gently just to release some of those colors. That neon green, bright neon is kind of taking over more than I had anticipated, but we'll see. twist it a little bit, sort of deconstruct it, perhaps bring it out to the black. And see if I can disperse some of that color. It's forming a lot of bubbles. That might be that neon that's not acting nicely with its friends. We'll see where this goes. I'm liking this part with the black, and I love how the cells seem to be activating up through it, and I'm really liking how the purple is interacting with the white on black, but I'm not really crazy about this neon color here. It's just not doing it for me. We're going to come in with some of that lighter green, pour from up high, bring it down. I'm going to break it up with some white, pour from up high so that it sinks, and just wait a couple of seconds to see if the magic it creates doesn't muddy it up. Popping some bubbles. I think I have enough purple, but you know what? I'm liking where this is going right here. You can't really see it because of the angle of the camera, but maybe it'll stay. Going to go for some more purple. And a little bit of that teal green. It's actually a deep ocean teal, which I really love. So I thank Lisa for that suggestion. This seems to be working out much, much better. Again, I'm not really liking that green effect there. So even before it begins, I'm actually going to just eliminate it altogether. I'm not liking it, and sometimes that happens, and that's okay. There we go. I think I want to add some white to this so that I don't lose it. I might actually keep some negative space to it as well, but we'll see. I'm going to lift the cup and rotate and bring it to the black. I actually think I need to add a little bit of black to get this going. The open cup pours can be rather tricky because they don't always flow out as easily as you expect them to. So I'm just adding that seal of black around the base and the outer perimeter. I'm not sure if I want to add any white to it, but you know what? We're going to start with the purple. Pour up high, bring it down. I'm going to actually add some more white to break it up. And down. I want to come in with some more of that beautiful deep ocean teal that Lisa has suggested. High and down. And since I did not like how this interacted with the other colors, I'm actually not going to use it. And give it a couple of seconds to do its thing. Pop some more bubbles that seem to be forming. And give it a couple of seconds just to see where it's going. I'm liking that this kind of went in there creating this negative space, but I may need to add a little bit to the outer part, and it's actually creating this real pretty striation along the outer part of that, and I'm not sure when I tilt if it's going to remain or not, but we'll see. I'm going to lift a little bit and let some of that escape. It's actually lacing up as it's seeping through the bottom of this. I'm thinking of keeping this black negative space and hopefully some of the white, but again, we'll see as we progress. I want to lift it again and decide if I need to bring in some more of that. I think I want to add a little bit of white here. That's actually too little, so let's get the other cup out. And I've prepared this. It's just titanium white. It has no silicone because when you get the pouring medium that is all ready to pour, it actually has or is made with Floetrol and probably some water, and so that actually creates some of those cells that you're seeing. So even if I had chosen not to use the silicone, I would have gotten some cells, perhaps not the bulger cells that I had wished for or that I would want in certain types of paintings, but nevertheless it does create some cells. So you can either use the silicone oil or baby oil or coconut oil. I love using coconut oil. It actually creates more of a cell structure. Unfortunately, I ran out today, so that's on my to-buy list, and UPS just loves me here. I think they know me by name. All right, so I'm going to lift and gently drag it across to my black. I'm hoping that some of that white will remain. All right. Sort of minimalistic again. I didn't want a lot to go on and overtake everything, but I'm not really sure where I want to go with this. I actually could take this and just deconstruct it or add to it if I had wished, using some of the color perhaps to outline. But once I stretch it, I'll be able to decide whether or not I actually do want to deconstruct it or leave it as it is in its stretched version. Again, I'm hoping to leave some negative space for it, just to draw your eye to the center, but we'll see, and we'll see what Lisa thinks once it's done. I want to go in and pop some of those bubbles because when I do pour from the bottle, which isn't often, but live and learn, it does tend to create those air bubbles, and that's just the nature of the beast. So I always recommend putting your bottled paint, pour paint, your mixed paint, whatever it happens to be, into the cup, and then pouring straight from there to avoid those the abundance of unnecessary bubbles. There we go. All right, so what I'd like to do is actually use the blower to push out some of that paint and create more wispy effect so that it's not as structured, because over here you can tell it's kind of just a wispy, feathery effect out off the canvas, which I really, really love. So let's see what happens. not really liking what happened here. So let's see if I can just kind of drag it out maybe. And just add some more of that wispy effect that seems to want to move on into infinity, which is quite nice actually. Always wipe your brush off in between so that you're not creating a muddy effect when you don't really, or when you do want the colors to pop. I'm liking the way this turned out actually. I don't want to do anything with that, but I did want to break it through. And this seems to want to go somewhere, so let's do that. You know, sometimes I go a little more deconstructing, or I do a little bit more deconstructing than I want to. And some are probably out there saying, no, don't do anymore. But we'll see. I'm really liking the wispy effect here. And there's some real subtle lacing that's going on. And as it dries, that lacing is going to come through even more. I want to actually bring this out. I'm not really liking what's going on in here, but perhaps when I stretch it out, it'll surprise me. Those happy little accidents that I had spoken about a little bit earlier in the video, or yesterday's video. I sort of lost track of time. In any case, I love the lacing with tiny little small boulder cells that are running through here, and sadly the camera isn't really capturing it. So perhaps if I come in later with the lens, you'll be able to see. And again, it's not always working the way I want it to, but I'm liking where this is going. I hope you leave some comments for me, because like my painting, I am also a work in progress. Oh, I don't know. I'm not really liking this piece in here. You know what? I'm going to go in with the blower and see if there are any cells that are hiding underneath. So let's go. Quite a few bubbles that are real resistant to this, and I refuse to use the torch gun. As I said in a prior video, not really liking the fire thing. The pigments seem to be not as well blended as I had hoped. I'm hoping once it dries, they'll kind of be absorbed into the overall under layer without affecting the composition too much. But it is a rather beautiful color palette. I am so glad I got rid of that neon green yellow thing that was going on. Just a quick note, I did actually prepare the sides of my canvas earlier for the sake of time, but also just as a precautionary measure, just in case when I do stretch it out, the paint doesn't go to the size that I'd want it to. So I'm just gonna go in with my finger. And I do have gloves, which I actually bought a large supply of gloves to use. and I choose not to use them. So why I'm buying them, I don't know. My husband's convinced I'm a shopaholic. Can't argue there. All right, so let's see what happens if I want to stretch it out and feel where the weight of my paint is. I think I want to go this way a little bit. And I'm sorry if you can't see what's happening right. Oh, all right, so let's bring it back to the center. And I think I want to go a little bit that way, but I didn't want to lose that lacing, which I really, really love. But sometimes it's just there. I'm liking where this is going. And again, I did not want to lose that beautiful cell structure. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to do its own thing. I brought it back to the center, and I'm actually going to go over to the side and bring it back and just get a little bit more going. I love the striations that are coming along. Some of that wispy effect has disappeared, but it doesn't seem to be horribly gone awry. There is more paint on that side than I had wanted, but just to kind of give you a recap here, I think I may need to add a little bit more paint, but I also think I need to wait to see what happens as more cells continue to pop during the drying process, in which case I may go back and just create some more. But I'll try to bring you in close for a view. There are some real beautiful cells going on here. The wispiness as they kind of travel off into the infinity, if you will. And then we have some additional cell structures within that black base. And it has this flow and movement here, reminiscent of, you know, some sort of dream-like state into that blue infinity with the white, with the striations of blue inside of it. And it did pick up some of the purple here, but again, it has some pigments that do not seem to want to disappear, which happens. What I want to do is actually go in and take the heat gun to it just to see if that will help some of that pigment get reabsorbed and maybe even get some more cell structures going. So let's go. I'm going to come in here and create some sort of wisp because I'm not really liking the way this is going. So let's see what happens if I bring that out a little bit. I may need to stretch it out again. It's just not really going where I wanted it to go. Just kind of playing with it a little bit. kind of get some of those additional striations that just look so pretty in it. And it's interesting because I did use the pearl white just a little bit. I didn't mention it because, or perhaps I did, I don't know. But what happened was that pearl metallic white, when mixed with the black that was drawn in when I tilted, actually created a silver effect, which is actually quite pretty. It gives it an additional pop to the overall picture, painting, composition. I was looking for the word and sometimes words escape me. Forgive me. I'm really liking what this is doing over here, and I love how it just kind of meanders to the on the sides. It's actually quite pretty, and there are some additional cells that are forming here. I'm not really liking the way this is going, so I want to bring it out and just kind of follow the contour of that just to see. Yes. As I'm dragging my palette knife through, it creates almost this wispy floral effect to it, which is actually quite pretty. I'm hoping not to overdo it here because I have this tendency to create the flowers that might take over. But this is actually, it's a detail. Close-up is actually real pretty. It's so just mesmerizing. And I find it soothing. Tranquil state. There we go. I want to bring some from in here. And I do clean my palette knife in between because, oh, the cell structure is really nice. I'm going to just run through it and bring it out just to give us a little bit more definition. I want to do maybe the same here, but not destroy the integrity of what's going on here. This has a little bit more purple than I'd wanted to, and I do see some cells or black that's coming through, but I'm not really liking the entire composition because it is so dark. And so my eyes are not necessarily drawn to it, but it's almost like a takeaway from what is going on here with all the beautiful cells and the boulders and some of the lacing that's going on. So it's actually really pretty. So I want to drag my knife through here and bring it out some more. I'm actually going to just create a little bit more. Let me know if I should stop. What do you think, Lisa? I'm hoping you're liking this. Thank you so much for your suggestion. And I think next time I'll stick with the palette that's offered to me by some of my viewers. You can always DM me on Facebook if you wish. And all of my artwork is available. Well, most of it is available, the ones that are not commissioned, obviously. So please feel free to contact me there if you have a suggestion of something you would like to see. All right, this one kind of dragged off, so let's bring it back. I'm not liking this too much. And the paint, for some reason, is getting kind of wompy. There may not be a word, but I'm going with it. I want to just break it up because it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it that's saying, here, bring it out. And I think I want to go in here a little bit. And again, it's gotten real wompy in there and I'm not really liking it. And that happens. I want to see if I could do something here. If not, I might have to go in and I'm not liking what's going on there. So, just like an eraser on a pencil, I'm not liking it. So let's remove it and see if I can salvage. I think what happened is the black took over and created an effect that I did not like. So I'm going to go in with the white. And yes, I'm going to put my cup back on there. Seal it. And yes, a little bit on the inside. Just a little extra touch. I want to pick up some of that beautiful green that I love. I'm going to add a little bit more white, and it's probably more than we need, but we'll see. Going to add some purple up high. Actually, add a little. You know what? I actually don't need any more white, but I do want to add some of Lisa's color suggestion to the palette. Some more. That teal. And there. So, we're going to wait a couple of seconds and blow a little bit more of those bubbles out from in there. It's a little bit more white than I had thought, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to try to tilt some of it off. Blow out some more air bubbles. It didn't work out the way I thought. So let's see. I'm tilting it again, just to, I'm liking where that's going. And it looks like I got rid of my negative space. I want to bring it back. The weight of the paint is telling me to go in that direction. And I'm really liking what's going on, so we'll see. I did not manage to retain that negative space I had hoped for in this piece, and that's okay. Sometimes the paint will do what it wants to do. I'm actually liking the black, even though I really don't have a lot of it going on up there, but I think it works. This corner is just stunning. It's just so pretty. I love the way it just kind of veers off the edges. It's quite pretty. I'm gonna pop some more bubbles. And as I do that, more cells are appearing. As it continues to dry, more cells will continue to appear. But I do need to pop those air bubbles because they will remain there in the painting if I don't do that. But I'm trying to avoid overheating because then you get a grazing effect, which I definitely do not want. don't think I want to do anything else with it. I love that it has just a little bit of black going on there, but I think I should have probably put in a little bit more. You know what, we're going to try it. I have a lot of black here on the side, so I'm gonna just kind of wispy this going in. I'm gonna go in with the paint that's actually dripped down onto my pads and use some of it. Just so that there's some sort of continuity between what I have going on here with the black, which is really popping, and then bring it up or out over there. So I think I want to do that same technique to this side, maybe not symmetrically pleasing, or some people would actually, I know my daughter would, this would drive her crazy. She has to have complete symmetry in her life, which is fine. I tend to have that on occasion, but when it comes to my artwork, I just kind of let the paint guide me as to where I want it to go, what I want it to do. I could add the black here, but I have a feeling that as it dries, this is going to come up some more. So I think I want to let that alone. But for some reason, the center here is just a little too stark white for me. So I want to bring a little bit of that black mixture, if you will, that I had going on. And just kind of do that to it, just so that it adds another level. I'm gonna pick up some more of my paint that I have here. Just kind of go in here with it. And again, just so it has some sort of focal point. And I think I need to do it one more time. A little bit of the black mixed in with that beautiful seafoam or ocean grass green. Bring it through. I think I want to tilt it just one more time because it's a little too austere, if you will, and I may lose some of that black at the bottom, and I'm okay with that, but I did not want to lose the integrity of what's going on down here at the bottom, because I'm really drawn to that. So it's as it's stretching, it's going to take some of that off, which I'm okay with, because it was just a little too much white that kind of took over that pearlescent, just kind of took over the canvas, and I wasn't too thrilled with that. But when all is said and done, this is really an interesting piece. I don't think I want to do anything else to it. We'll see how it goes when it dries. I'm just going in there and checking on my sides, and I'm also running my fingers around the under edge, because what happens is the drips that are forming there, that come off the canvas, will pull the composition down with it. It drags, that paint drags it down. So I don't want that to happen. I'd like to just have it stay as it is. So I want to touch up the sides just a little bit. Make sure I have my corners. It's actually really pretty. Corners turned out really well. I think it's done. Well, it's done for now until it dries. So let me do a quick clean of my hands. And I'm going to take you in for a close-up. My hands have more paint on them than I think the canvas does. Well, it's drying, but I was talking about this corner right here. It's just real pretty, like a unique rainbow. It's like a galaxy of sorts. I may stretch it out some more because this has become sort of muddied. So we'll see.